Okay, cool. Let's see how we go. Whatever. Okay, howdy. I'm gonna take you on a journey of discovery and fun. So have you ever found yourself watching a lot of Timothée Chalamet interviews? He's the big actor of the time. He's in every movie, and because we're in a digital age, that means that he's in a lot of online interviews, and you can watch those. And you can learn fun facts about him. And one fun fact that any Timmy fan will know is that he's a big fan of Kid Cudi. And if you go down that rabbit hole and you find that you're a little bit of a fan, and then you find out that Kid Cudi is actually, dabbles in acting, and then you watch Kid Cudi's movie Intergalactic, which is a visual of one of his albums that features Timothée Chalamet, and you watch that and you're like, okay, that was fine. And you're like, there's got to be other things to do. And there are other things to do. So then you're like, I'm going to go see Luca in theaters. That seems like a nice movie. And then you go see Luca a few times and you're like, wait, I know that kid. I know that Jack Dylan Grazer kid. He was good. He was in It 2017, wasn't he? And then you go, not wasn't he? Of course I know that. He was in It 2017. So you go back and you watch It 2017 and you're like, wow, he's such a talented actor. I'm sure he's in other stuff too. And you're like, oh yeah, he's in Shazam. I'll go watch Shazam. And if he's in Shazam and he's in It and he's in Luca, he's got to be in other stuff. So you go on IMDb and you find out that he's in a bunch of minor roles in new movies, and you're like, that sucks. Why would I want to I'm not watching a whole indie film just to see Jack Dylan Grazer for 5 minutes. Maybe not this week. But that search leads you down a Google search rabbit hole, a very brief one. And you see that he has an article that's an interview about working with Luca Guadagnino on a series. And you're like, could there have been a better discovery to find 9 hours of Luca Guadagnino content with Jack Dylan Grazer? And you look at the cast list on IMDb and you're like, and Kid Cudi? And the actress who plays the mom in Bones and All, but she has lines? And you're like, oh, that's how they met. So anyway, here we are, where we found the HBO series We Are Who We Are from 2020. Wow. I watched it just the one time, but I've thought about it a lot since, like every day. And I saw Challengers and I was like,
you know how many foods are shaped like dicks? The best kinds.
I don't really think about it. But We Are Who We Are, something about it. It's just like so... It takes, hold of my mind, and part of me was hesitant to know that there's like a 9-hour Luca Guadagnino show, and I'm like, what's that going to be? Like, can you fill that space? A little bit, but also way more than that. I was excited because, wow, what a delight! It was like Christmas. What the heck? This is like perfect. The best discovery in the entire world. Because I know you don't know what We Are Who We Are is, because I didn't know, and all I do is look at stuff to look at. So it's about all these kids from all over the world that are on an Italian military base. It is a US military base in Italy. And so, like how Call Me By Your Name is Italy, but it's like nature Italy with swimming and trees and nothing to do. This is Italy like city. So it's going to school, being on this army base, going to the grocery store, like mundane stuff still, but like industrial mundane. And it gets into like some weird heavy territory. It's an ensemble cast instead of like 4 people. It's like you follow different families and different groups and how war affects you. And also growing up It's all just about like teenagers doing teenage things, like figuring out themselves and figuring out who they're attracted to and all kinds of things like that. Not in a creepy way, most of the time. A little bit of the time to teach them lessons of, oh no, not that. But no, it's really good. Jack Dylan Grazer plays this really petulant teenager who goes between being like this aggressive, standoffish jerk and being actually kind of cool and actually like very open. And he's like this new kid on the base, and all the other kids are already friends, and they're like, we don't want you in our friend group because you dress weird and you look weird. He's got like weird bleached hair and he paints his nails in interesting ways, you know, to be kind of punk-like, I think, or fashionable. But like, I could get into a rant about how he paints his nails, but anyway, the kids don't like him. They think he's like snooty and odd, and he is. But this one girl named Caitlin feels like the group isn't really for her, and she's got these like secrets that she can't really share. She is closer to her dad than her mom, and they sell fuel on the black market or like under the table. And so she like dresses up in her dad's clothes. She wears like grungy man clothes and like a baseball cap. And we find out that she is unsure about her gender identity, and she goes off to the other town dressed like a boy and pretends to be a boy named Harper. And Jack Dylan Grazer, I'll just say his name is Fraser. That rhymes. That's so fun. So Fraser, he's kind of like a lurker. Because he's not in the group of his peers, he just kind of follows them around and like sees what they're doing, but like they don't like him, so he can't really just hang out with them. He's just kind of like, kids, I gotta be near them my age. And so he follows Caitlin to this other town where she's dressed like a boy, and he's like, you don't really look that much like a boy. I can like help you with that. And he's, you know, from New York, so he knows a bunch of stuff about like the internet and like fashion and gender expression, and he's very willing to share what he knows because that's all he wants to talk about. He wants to talk about fashion, he wants to talk about life and like philosophy, and he's like very, I'm so cool and nobody understands, I'm so cool and nobody gets like what life is really about. And Caitlin's like, sure, tell me about it. So they become like best friends, they're real chummy, and this kind of drives like a wedge in between Caitlin and her original friend group on the base, because they're like, he's stinky and weird, we don't want to hang out with him, and he's taking you away from us. Her parents don't understand either. Both of her parents and Fraser's parents are like, oh, they're bad influences on each other, they spend too much time together, blah, 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 and they think that they're dating all the time, but Fraser's like, no, we're cooler than that. We will never kiss each other. We are platonic and we are progressive, essentially. I thought that was kind of cool. I liked that. I liked having two besties who are a boy and a girl, or, you know, trying to figure out who they are, and they decide not to be romantic love interests, and I really appreciated that.
Oh, man!
Anyway, so they say multiple times that they're not dating to each other and their families, and they tell each other that they're not gonna kiss and blah, blah, blah. It's mostly just like a friendship where like they can share secrets with each other, they're really comfortable with each other. They listen to cool music, they like fall asleep on FaceTime together. Overall, just like a really wholesome friendship. They're always holding hands and hanging out. And it's really impactful when Caitlin can have a friend where she can like feel open to wearing the clothes that she wants to wear, and Fraser has somebody to tell all the cool things he knows to. There's like a impactful scene where Caitlin, she has this really pretty long hair. They say multiple times in the show that like, everybody loves you for your hair's so cool, everybody, that's like your defining feature. And so Caitlin's like, woof, I don't like how I'm defined right now, I'm gonna cut it off. And Frasier helps her cut off all of her hair so she has like a buzz cut. And that really makes the parents irate. They are like, no, 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 we cannot have this happen. No, no, no. And Frasier has two moms, and one of his moms is like the commander of the base. And Caitlin's dad is a soldier on the base. And after this whole haircutting incident and all kinds of like, oh, they're being too secretive together and blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a few things that cause it. But essentially, Frasier's mom has this power to send Caitlin's family to a different country, like to live on a different base, like to keep them apart. And they do. So the series ends with Caitlin moving. But before she moves, her and Frasier take this train to go see a concert, to see this like performer that they both really like, that they like love to sing the songs of. And it's real cute. They have a cute little interlude dance number that I'm not quite sure if it's imagined or real, but they recreate one of his music videos. Maybe they had some kind of like deal with the singer to like use the songs, because I looked him up after that. I forget what his name is. It's something orange, blood orange, but he's got a different name now. That was like his band or his performance name before, and then now he uses his real name or something. I don't know. But anyway, it's like a singer that they both really like. And the last episode is really fun. They go to this really small venue, and it's like this packed show, but they get separated from each other. And Caitlin runs into this, she's hanging out with this bartender the whole night because she can't find Frasier. And the bartender like makes a move on her, and Caitlin's glad to accept it a bit. Like, she doesn't quite know that that's what she is doing at first, and then after she's like, yeah, okay, that's kind of cool. The girl is like, oh, so you're a trans man? And she's like, maybe? And she's just like, I have to go to the bathroom. And she just leaves, and the shot is upside down, and she's like washing her face in the bathroom, and kind of, I don't remember if she's crying, but it's a very like emotionally intense scene where it's like everything she once thought she knew about herself isn't quite right. She's like, I thought I wanted to be a boy. I thought I wanted to transition, but now when I'm treated like that, I don't know if I like it. It's all about self-discovery and having the space to figure things out about yourself. And Frasier's all for it, or all for her figuring that out about herself. And then she, has also the space to find a middle ground in it. It's really, really beautiful. That's why I really love Luca Guadagnino stuff, because it's like the subtleties of life and the stories of big support with exploration of who you are. It's really nice. There are like things in the show that are a bit not so nice. Like, it's about war, so like bad stuff happens because of the war, but also like production wise. So like Jack Dylan Grazer is 16 when he made it, and because it's a show about figuring out who you're attracted to, he has this arc where he has a crush on this guy who's like 30. And this is a little bit of a spoiler. He has like this weird dynamic with this soldier who's like way too old for him. And it's like supposed to be this arc of like, oh, creepy guys can like you too. And just because somebody likes you doesn't mean that they're good for you or a good person. And it's like that kind of lesson. But they have this weird scene where like the man is like dancing in his underwear, and the man's girlfriend is dancing in her underwear with this teenage boy, And it doesn't go like further than that, but it's like, what a situation to put him in. He was a child. I don't like that one bit. I don't like that at all. Poor kid. I hope he has some kind of therapy or sort that out somehow, because like, if he were like an adult and knew like, oh, I'm displaying a teenager learning this lesson that there's creeps, that's different than him actually being 16. Ugh, no. So, although he didn't do anything like too crazy, it was definitely like supposed to be like a bad situation and like uncomfortable for me, well, that was a slip, but I mean for the audience and for him. But it's just like, I don't like that, because it went right up to like the border of like, what can we have a 16-year-old do legally? Like, that's what it felt like. And where like, yes, if you're 16, those things can happen to you for sure. Like, you can have a creepy guy come on to you when you're 16. But to have an actor do that, especially an actor who's so excited to work with this director, that just rubbed me the wrong way. And that's why I feel like a little bit hesitant to be like, this show is amazing, because of stuff like that. But, the film industry is improving, I hear, in that regard of like making sure that people are comfortable and you're not making minors do things that are questionable, and because you know how excited they are and how much they want to keep their jobs. Any actor. But woof. That was unpleasant. Okay, my camera's about to die, but we are who we are. I have more to say probably about all the other arcs, but I just wanted to do like a quick kind of thing about it. I thought it was good. I thought, of course, there's that questionable bit. It's it's just like a really, really, really long Luca Guadagnino movie, traditional Luca Guadagnino movie, like Call Me By Your Name, Bones and All, things like that. Very realistic, but like industrial realistic instead of like nature realistic. So I thought it was a delightful series. Of course, it's HBO, so be aware of aggressive male nudity in the beginning. Yuck.
I'm obsessed with wieners. What about HBO? This isn't helping us, Butters.
Be aware that is in there, and there is some kind of sketchy, like, violence between family members that's a bit uncomfortable and confusing. Like, Frasier's very aggressive to his mom. Like, he throws things in the house because he's like angry about being on this base and nobody understands him and blah blah blah. I'm a petulant teenager. So yeah, I don't know what the conclusion is. It exists and it's good. Yeah. Okay, I guess that's it. Okay, bye-bye.